What do we do when life is hard? I'm not talking about, oh, stink, they messed up my coffee order. I'm talking about you are exhausted, bone tired. Your kids have decorated the kitchen with ketchup and mayo, and they have some weird science experiment growing in their bedroom. The imaginary potty was used in there too, and there's conflict between you and your spouse. You are so exhausted and you don't know how to move forward. That is going to be our chat today about our perspective and how do we handle when life is at that level of hardship.
Hey, friend, do the daily demands of family life leave little time for self care? Are you losing yourself in the process of caring for others? Are you ready to make self care and healthy boundaries a natural part of your day while embracing your roles as a wife and mom? Well, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Christina, married 17 years to a neurodiverse man, mom of 3 neurodiverse kids, and many more roles. Welcome to the Moms and Neurodiverse Families podcast. Get ready to begin your self-care journey. Grab your planner and listen in as we take another small step towards a peaceful, healthier you.
Of all the things you have going in your life, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate it. If you are a longtime listener, could you go ahead and take like 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review? And if you're a first-time listener, I would love for you to join my email list so I can keep you in the loop on the behind the scenes activities. There's a planner launch that I'll be doing coming this spring, and also encouragement because there's just some weeks life is hard, and it's nice to have some real life encouragement in your email box. But today's episode is 15 years in the making. If you've been here for a little while, you've heard my stories of Toothpaste Volcano, the stories of the creative shenanigans my kids have gotten into, along with the hardships, the hard moments in life. And life is beautiful, it really is, but also it's hard. There's no way around it. And sometimes the hardship that we're dealing with is because we're tackling communication challenges. I mean, have you been there where you realize the definition of your word and definition of your spouse's word or maybe your child's word is completely different, and you spend 30 minutes just discussing what that word means, which is great, but conversations take so much longer in our situation than it does for the average person. It's almost as if we're having two different cultures communicate on our perspectives, which in essence it is. When you look at autism and looking at neurodiversity, there are different ways, different neural wirings that are happening, and we need to take the time to understand each other. There's a daily moments where you're trying to comprehend, like, why is my child in the middle of a meltdown? What are they trying to communicate? Specifically with clothes, like I've shared how I would spend 45 minutes getting one of my kids dressed when they were very young. And then right before we had to go out the door, like literally 5 minutes before we went out the door, they were down to their skivvies. I mean, it was like, oh my goodness. You do the math and you're like, there's no way I can get them dressed in time. What do I do? And so trying to understand, like, okay, what are you communicating? And back then, I was just a newbie. I didn't understand what they were communicating. I so wish I could go back in time, but we can't. But I can share with you what I've learned. And honestly, what takes, like I mentioned before, what takes a task for one family, a few minutes for us, is like 30 minutes to an hour. So right there, that's hard, right? It's difficult, especially when you compare yourselves, which is deadly. We shouldn't compare ourselves to other families. But sometimes life is hard because of unhealthy coping skills that we've learned. Maybe growing up, you learned being quiet was important because then you didn't receive the anger, you didn't get in trouble. Or maybe you learned the only way you will ever get attention is by making trouble, by being the center of attention. Possibly there's some maturity tasks that are still in progress. And honestly, I think for most adults, that is the case. I'm referring to Dr. Jim Wilder and his pivotal research regarding being mature. And there's tasks that many of us have not happened when we were children, and when left undone, that impacts us and how we function. And even undealt trauma. Possibly there is trauma from your childhood, or young adulthood, or even currently. that's impacting you. So life is hard for many different reasons. And this is one of the reasons why I am so excited about the planner I'm launching, because this was birthed out of years of trials and difficulties and trying to find a way for me to move forward, trying how do I care for my family that I love so much, at the same time take care of my needs that seem to be pushed off to the side more and more. Sometimes by others, but oftentimes by myself, because I kept focused on the problem. And the small steps I took in that planner over years has translated into profound growth in my life, where problems I had 10 years ago are so different than I have now. And I heard this poem written by, and the author is Devin Brugh, Brugh, and giving credit to him as an author, and it's called Choose Your Hard. I heard that poem, and it was this light bulb for me, this light bulb of this is what I have been doing for so long, realizing I had to choose what my hardship would be. Now, I made my own version, which I feel captures some of the neurodiversity complexities, the beauty, and also the hardships of being in a neurodiverse family and neurodiverse marriage. And let me read this to you. And it's still in progress. I don't feel like I fully have finished the poem, but let me share what I currently have. And let me know if this resonates with you. Avoiding conflict is hard. Boundaries are hard. Choose your hard. Unmet needs are hard. Self-care is hard. Choose your hard. Chronic pain is hard. Daily physical therapy is hard. Choose your hard. Hiding feelings is hard. Honesty is hard. Choose your hard. Shutting down during your child's meltdown is hard. Canceling dinner to help your child regulate is hard. Choose your hard. Living without passion is hard. Chasing your dreams is hard. Choose your hard. Believing lies about life is hard. Believing God's truth while in pain is hard. Choose your hard. Life is never easy. It will always be hard, but we can choose our hard. Pick wisely. And with this adapted version that I did, I feel really captures so many tiny, tiny small choices I made over the years. Sometimes I chose to avoid conflict. And especially many years ago, I chose increasingly to avoid conflict instead of enact boundaries. I chose to let my needs be unmet instead of taking the time and investment to do self-care. But as I went along in this process of using my planner, of writing down every week just the smallest, tiniest things, like literally, it was small things like take a 5-minute walk. It was that small. And eventually it became a 10-minute walk. Or it was doing one physical therapy exercise that week. It was just the tiniest steps I took and how they added up over life. And the philosophy that I have been contemplating in my mind for so long has been life is hard. And I'm not saying there's not beautiful moments. I'm not saying like my kids, like they crack me up. I love them. I love my spouse. There are just beautiful moments that we have. But I can't deny the hardship either. But I want to choose, if I'm going to have these hard moments, I want hard moments that are moving me forward, that are moving me towards progress. I don't want to be in hard moments that are Groundhog's Day on repeat. I am stuck. And it's the same hardship over and over again without forward progress. If I'm going to be experiencing this, I want it to be experiencing it as moving me towards eventually a positive direction. And I think that is why I have had the growth that I've had, is because I had this mindset, and it's been there in my mind, it's been in my heart. But once I heard this poem, the original poem, it just like clicked with me, like that's what I've been doing. I knew it, but I couldn't express it. And so there's a question I have for you now. I know you're dealing with hardships, ones that I maybe can't even comprehend because there's some nuances in your situation. And unfortunately, there's maybe other people in your family or your friends that they don't understand either. But what do you want to do with the hardships you have in life? Do you want to keep experiencing hardships that have you stuck? It's the same thing, maybe a different flavor, but basically it's avoiding the conflict, hoping that things are get better. Like maybe this time there's a positive moment, a positive experience. So maybe we're on the upswing and realizing you're not. But do you want to continue repeating those hardships, or instead do you want to have hardships that are moving you forward? The hardships of I'm choosing not to clean this up and I want to go to bed earlier. The hardship of I'm going to live with the frustration of not having the house the way I want it. And instead, I'm going to focus on my Bible time, or I'm going to take a walk and I'm going to exercise. We have a choice in this. And so, what would life look for you if you began in the tiniest steps, began choosing instead of ignoring whatever you're ignoring and avoiding it? What if you step towards a solution, as ugly and messy as it might be? But what if those hardships you're experiencing led to a positive growth? Just like childbirth. In childbirth, there are pains that we're going through, but the end result is this baby. By God's grace, we pray and hope. How awful would it be if childbirth always ended with your child didn't live? And for those of you who have experienced that, my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry if this is a triggering example. I myself lost our sweet child during our pregnancy, so that is hard, so difficult. So the question I have for you is, do we want to keep these experiences that are always hard with no positive gain? You're not holding this bundle of joy at the end, whatever that joy would be for you. Whether it's, I no longer feel chronic pain, my health is getting better, I am doing self-care, I feel joy again, I see the color, the world has color again. It's no longer this dreary black and white and gray. What would it be like if you started taking those steps? If this is you, I offer self-care coaching as individual appointments, or there is a 4 session you can pay at once with a discount. But you know what? You don't have to be in my self-care. I'm offering it because I know how helpful it can be not to go through this alone. But you can do these small steps on your own as well. And I encourage you, let these pains, these birth pains, change it into something that is going to be birthed into your life that is positive and that is going to give life back to you. If this connected with you in any way, I would love to hear from you. And please know that I am praying for you. And I truly believe that the tiniest small steps over time, they will add up in your life as they have in mine. I don't know how long, but I am so thankful I did start all those years ago, and I encourage you to do the same as well.
Hey, thank you for joining me today. I pray this episode gave you encouragement to take one small step. If so, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help other women find this show. By the way, if you're loving this conversation and want more encouragement like this, join my email list at bit.ly/myselfcare. That is bit.ly/myselfcare. I have a planner launching soon that will help you put all this into action in your own life. I look forward to chatting with you again next week for another episode.